Hi, good evening, everyone. Can someone can acknowledge if my voice is audible to you and screen hasn't been shared? Can you acknowledge it? Can I know if my voice is audible and my screen is visible? And someone can acknowledge it? Thank you, Ashish. Thank you, everyone. A very good evening to everyone. So, particularly, I would say about whatever today we're gonna study about or anything. Okay, we are but particularly going to start that section only. And about the short introduction about me, I think yesterday the voice was not audible or anything. Correct. So, I'm a software engineer at MyCare Healthcare. I'm a full stack web developer too. I'm a content writer, wrote more than 120 plus contents till now. And particularly, I mentored a lot of students till now, and I was being the chapter lead of Girl Script Pathankot, and then the regional head of Girl Script Punjab. So I've shared a lot of my skills and I would say experience in different fields, particularly. So that one thing, it's a main good background of mine. Okay, so as of now today, what we are going to start is about the style components, how we are going to do the installations and setup of a particular folder to start with this. And I hope everyone has been clear with the functions and classes if you are over here for the style react components, so style components and all. Correct. So particularly if I'll tell you about the what actually the structure would be or the installations about this and all. Correct. It's okay. You'll get the attendance link of today also. It's okay. You'll get that. Okay. And this thing you will be providing with the attendance link. That's not an issue. At the end, I'll provide the attendance link to you. Okay. So let's start with our own. I would say introduction about the style components. I already gave you an introduction about the style components, but still I would say that not as a perfect one or anything. It's not always change about the style components, what actually it carry forwards to that. Correct. So if I'll talk about the only and only style components and then different formats or anything. Correct. You can see about the style components are actually it actually lets you to write the css only with in your own javascript manner or anything. Okay, this means like you can use a lot of features of css, and a lot of time you can do it, and then styling some components or using that components as a reusable format. Correct. You can use pseudo selectors, media queries, listings and all. Correct. So if I tell you about the what is an actual use of an style components or anything, so it supports the all the concurrent server side rendering, okay, with the style sheet hydration to that. Correct. So a basic idea is every time you render your app or an application or anything or a website, okay, whenever you render that, so your app on the server or you can create a server style list and all to provide that actually render tree or that could script your css or styles in context to an api. Correct. So this thing I would say about, and let's go forward to our own concept implementation. Actually we are going to implement today a button, like how we can make a button in a css. Correct. So this button we're going to make it with the help of the style components, not with the css, I would say completely a css part, but a react component style components. Perfect. Okay, let's go with our own project. First of all, just open the VS Code in your system. Okay. If you need to make any app or any folder or anything, you can make it. But first of all, open a Visual Studio on your system, and along with this, go forward. I would say there is a certain I would say implementation and all about the VS Code. Okay, so that thing you can do it. Perfect. Now open the command prompt or a terminal if you are working in a, I would say, in a Windows. So you can go with the command prompt, and if you're working in an Mac OS, you can go with the terminal. Okay. Okay, this thing you can enter in a terminal, and in terminal, what you can do is just like I think everyone has been able to see my terminal, correct? Now we are going to make a small implementation. Now we will be setup we'll be doing a setup of our project. Okay, so okay, now what we are going to do is, if everyone have knowledge about the React components and all, correct? So basically, give me a minute now. Let's open our terminal. Okay, I hope everyone have opened the terminal. Okay, so let's go with our second step is, so I need my this folder to have it on my desktop. So we will write a command that is cd desktop. Okay. Now if you need to make a cd on particularly on your desktop and app and all, so you can go with this, and after then you can go with npx create react, and then write the name of the app. Like suppose I'm just writing it react my app. Okay, you can go with this, it will be starting to your app. Okay, now it will take time and all to just particularly render your all the app requirements and all, concluding all the react arms and all. Okay, I'll open my new one I've already installed in my system. Let's do one thing, we will have it on this particular time. So okay. Okay, so this step you can follow with. Let me just check it, my app. Okay, I have my folder, so I'm just opening that. So you can follow this first. Okay, I have opened mine one right now, which I already did at on my prior time. Okay, after this you can go with a particular command that is cd my app, or anything you named your particular app name, correct? So you can go to your app folder directory, that is cd my app, or anything you can go with. Okay, after that you need to start it. To start this particular application or anything in a React, we use npm start. Okay, you can use the yarn also, but we over here we are going to use the npxx npm start. Okay, now if I need to go with to my folder, that is my app. Okay, so it will give me a particular folder name that is I've made. You can simply go and press tab to not to write entire name of your app. Okay, your I would say folder, correct? It's cd my app. Okay, now you need to do one thing more is, in this you install the modules in that. Okay, just simply write install npm install. Okay, npm install, when you will doing it, every I would say not modules or every packages or libraries or anything, every modules you people are getting in that. Okay, so modules are the blocks of every encapsulated code that communicates with an external application, and on the basis of that only it relates to certain functionality. Okay, so modules can be single also, modules can be a collection of the multiple folders also. Okay, so now I think till here everyone is done with. Okay, now if I'll tell you about to run this particular whatever it is the by default and everything it would be giving as you, and I would say as an fold that is okay. Just go to the terminal of a VJS code. Your code folder is already open in this. Okay, and also you can use npx also. Okay, before that, I would like to tell you one thing more is we have to install I would say a component. Okay, so you can go to this extension. Okay, you can write over here. Okay, extension you need to install it over here. That is VS Code. I would say VS Code style components. Okay, over here I have already installed it. You can simply go with over here. It would be written as an install. Okay, so it is getting all the intelligence support in this. Okay, so now if I need to run my I would say website or anything this folder only, I would write npm start. Okay, and particularly it going to be going to run on my local host, that is 3000 local host. Okay, it would be going to run that. I hope till here you all have covered it. I hope everyone has been covered till here. Anyone lagging anywhere? Let me know if anyone is lagging. I could repeat it once again. Okay, I think everyone is with me only, working along with me too. Okay, so this thing. So particularly now, if our server is working now, this thing. Okay, we need to make a button. I would say yesterday I already explained you about how we can make a button in this and what is the purpose of it or not. Correct. So now we need to make a button over here. So what we will be going to do? So for that, what actually we're gonna do is we are going to make certain component files. We need to delete some code in this, which is by default and all. Okay, which is already over here. Okay, we can remove that, and after that we can style some components. We can use some components and all. Okay. Yep. I think extension is downloaded on your system now. The obvious code style components. So now we are going to create a very first styled components. Okay, a very first style component in this. Now we're going to consider a button or styling an HTML component or anything in this. Okay, we are going to style that. So let's remove this header section. Okay, I'm just removing this header section because we are adding something more in this. Okay, you can see that we have nothing in this. Correct. So we have nothing in this. We have removed that header section. If I'll just go and undo this, you can see that's header section. Correct. So we are removing this header section now. Okay, we will remove this too. So it will not cause anything about the import dot app css on, because you already have this file in your folder. Correct. So it will not cause anything about this. Okay, Now let's move forward to this. So in the basic element, when we add in a HTML, we just write it like this, correct? A basic element, and I would say in an HTML, we just generally like this, and we'll write this button, correct? Let's see the output. So you will get a simple button over here. I would say in CSS, HTML, we're going to write. We're not styling this, correct? And you can simply see this all by autosave or anything. Okay, you can simply run this file by the npm start. Now we will be styling this button with style components. Okay, how we can do it, let's see that. But if you need to add an, I would say, style this button, you can with an in and css or anything, you can simply add and prop in this, correct? But we're going to style it with the class also, so you need to add a class name, correct? Now, so now we are going to introduce a component which will only and only give us in style only. Okay, if I'll give a multiple, I would say buttons over here. Okay, instead of 2, 3, and 4, if I'll give a multiple buttons, you can see the multiple buttons we are getting it, correct? But we need to only style one button over here, correct? Let's write it button. Okay. So remember one thing, that the very first step is like we need to import the style components from the package. Okay, you need going to simply write it. I would say import styled. Okay, you can going to write it import styled. What error? I'm just getting it. Okay. Okay. I think it's something error is there. Okay. Now we are going to add the style. I think I have already. Give me a minute now. Let's terminate this terminal. And this thing. Okay, yes. The mistake is we need to install, I would say, npm install style components, and this simply going to write this npm install styled components, because you will get an error like this. I'm getting it. Okay, or you can go with an yarn too. Yarn add style components. If you're using a yarn, you can go with this too. Okay, now if I'll just remove this, undo it. Why it's not? My mouse is not working. Okay, if I'll simply go this import styled components, you can see that on a very first we have a styled components. This correct. So you can go with this import style component and all. Okay, similarly to this, you can import CSS too. Okay, that we were having in that section to import CSS or anything like that. Okay, from the style components or anything like that. Correct one. Okay, let's move forward. Okay. So now outside this particular part, let's import first of all the CSS to import uh, dot. Don't remove it. That one you already have it. Okay. Okay. This thing. Now in outside that, I need to say that let's run this npm start, and you will see that we have the this particular react type which is already going to run it, and we have the button over here. Okay. Okay. So now outside this, so now we're going to define a style component. Okay. Style button component const styled component. Okay. Styled button. Okay. And this would be for, I would say, style component. Okay. It's a function. Okay. We can specify any html element we need to style. Okay. Now we are going to go with this button element. Dot. Then we will be adding a dot button. Okay. You can already see that we have an autocomplete in an action in that. So now we are going to add all the CSS in a template literals in this. Okay. So literals like this. You can add the literals like this, and all the CSS we're gonna add it over here. It's a backticks and all. So how we can do it? Okay, we can add it. I would say a background color, a border to a CSS and all. Correct. I would say, or I would say that we can add a border. Correct. We can add a background color. Okay, solid black. Okay. Okay, just let's invoke in an app component first of all. Okay, like we have a styled component, styled button. Okay, we will invoke over here. Then we will close it. Okay, like this. So like suppose we are going to write it as a style component or a button. Okay. So this thing, I think that here I have made a mistake. It's a const. Okay. Now, if I'll say about this particular section about like styling of a component or anything. So now if I'll say that I have given a border, I have given I would say particular class or padding, margin and all. Correct. So that depends upon. Now suppose I need a border. Okay. I need a background color to this. I need a background color. Okay. This thing. Now background color what it is and how I need it a background color. Correct. So background color I'm just writing it as an, I would say, yellow. Okay. Let's take it to our this particular section. You can see we have the style component like this. Let's remove this button. Okay, we have this border. We have, I would say, let's keep it as in 5 pixel to a button. Okay, we have a background color. Okay, now let's give it as in color of a text. Okay, I'm just giving a color of a text again to black color. Okay, then we particularly can give it as in padding. Those who have know the what about the paddings and all, so we will give about the padding also. Let's give it as in 15 pixel and 32 pixel. Correct. Now we can give it a text alignment. Text align, let's give it as an, I would say, a center. Okay, you can see about the padding is done, the text alignment is done, that is in a center part. Okay, if I tell you about particularly about the system of just a minute, about how we can add the margin. Okay, how we can give a margin to that and all, so that depends upon, correct. Now we will be adding text decoration to this. Like, let's give a text decoration, and to the text decoration, let's give it as an, I would say, none. Let's give it none only. Okay, now to button, let's give it display to an inline block. Okay, this time. And I would say, let's give a font size to font size. Let's give it a 16 pixel font size. Okay, uh, let's check out the particular output. So you can see the output of a button over here, correct. So in case like you don't need to add a font size over here, or any particular thing or anything, so you can give a cursor to over here. Like suppose for the cursor, let's give it as a pointer to, like at the pointer that particular happen. And then transition you can add it about 0.5 seconds or anything like that. Okay, and the property you can give it as all ease out, or like it should all ease out and all. Okay, like this. Now we can see the output, correct. So let's write it over here, like anything you can add a text over here. Let's give a text like def. I'm just maintaining a def and closing a def. Okay, and then I'm just adding it over here. Text here is your first component. I'm just writing our first component or anything. Okay, I'm just going to write this. We are going to make the more often over here the folder and component both. Okay, like this. So you can see that it is particularly giving you an indication of it as your first component and all. Okay, now I'm just guiding you one thing more about this is, it is the button component in invoking it over here. Okay, now what we are going to do is, okay, now in this src one we are going to make a folder that is components. Okay, in this you can make a folder of the components and all, and then in the components you can add a file and make this file button.js. Okay, so now once you create your file that is button.js, okay, now what we will be doing is, now we are going to import the statement style components. Okay, import the statement over here, and then we are going to the component of it, this one. Okay, now I'm gonna remove this part. Okay, and this too. Okay, now let's go with this, and we're going to export. We're going to export the component default. Okay, and style button. Okay, like this in the app. Okay, it is style component which is already in the app. Now we're going to import the styled button. Just remember one thing, the styled button, importing the styled button. Okay, I think just a minute now. Just a minute. Okay, like this. I think over here the styled button. Okay, and now we're going to import the styled button from the components. Now this styled button we are going to importing it from the component, that is button.js. Okay, this one. So when you will be clicking on the browser, okay, so you still have the same over here, correct? If I'll remove this here, or just let's comment it like this, you can see that we still have like this, correct? Your button is still there, like this. This is the button where you can see that this is same like this. Okay, let's go ahead. Now what we will be doing is, under the component we have button.js, correct? So now we are going to make a folder that is button. Okay, and we're going to shift, I would say, at this file that is button.js to button folder. Okay, okay, so it is under now the button, and over here import, in the import section what you will be doing is import, in the imports I would say styled button from button folder and the button.js file, correct? So under the button folder we will be creating one more file that is button dot style dot js. Okay, this thing we're going to create this one over here, the button dot style dot js. Now this file will be actually responsible for this button styled component. Okay, so make sure like whatever you are going to do is you're going to import also, and you're going to use it and make it as a reusable one. Now from the button.js, what we'll be doing is we will be import this statement, import statement of this. Okay, this thing, correct? Just a minute. Yeah, we will do one thing. We will just take this and button.style.js, this thing, and then what we'll be doing is in this we will be importing our styled from styled component. Okay, the jxx2, if you will remove it, okay, or anything like that, you can add it. But now in this particular folder what we will be going to do is we are going to export. Okay, you can go and forward to this. So now in the button.js you can do one thing, you can import the button styled component. Okay, styled button over here. You can import styled button from the name count. Okay, styled button, just a minute now. styled button from button dot style. Okay, and the button would still be showing like this only. Okay, whatever the method you can do it. Okay, so this is, I would say, pretty much understandable to you all. The basics of the how to style the button component or any component like this. You can style it a header component also like this and all. You can have to make a wrappers or anything. This is just in basic a single component we have made in this. Correct? Any doubt to anyone? Yes, it would be there only. In the YouTube only we would be having this playlist. Don't worry about that. Correct one. Good one, Amrit. This is a good practice to do. Okay, Surendra. Yes, Nordman also working fine. Okay. So similarly, he can add a lot of, I would say, styling to a particular component. Okay, a lot of styling to a particular component actually. Okay, either you can go with the style of a button. Okay, you can go with the styling of any particular topic or anything to that. Okay, you can simply go to that and have it what sections you need to perform or any like that. Perfect. So, and what about the this about the, I would say, playlist? It would be already over here only. Okay, don't worry of that. So simply you can go and like if you need to, we have styled button. Okay, you can simply give it. Okay, I'll do one thing. It is particularly if I'll say that this is particular task of you or anything. Okay, you can do one thing. You can use anything image, or I would say just an icon. Okay, or I would say just an header of it, like a particular header we can use it every time that is. Okay, you can go one thing, like you can add, I'm just adding this div. Okay, for this particular section. So if I say that for this particular section I'm adding a div, and I'm just writing it here as your first component. Okay, but instead of this I need this component only, because I need this component so that I can use it everywhere. So like we have used for the button.js or style.js and all. Okay, we have styled it and all, we are going to use it and all. Okay, similarly over here I would say it's appearing like this. Okay, here is the first components and all. Okay, suppose if I need a component on this section, okay, and this is a fixed one. Okay, I can use it at the multiple time and all. Correct. So you can carry forward to this particular section of how you can give a component a particular name. I would say tomorrow we are going to go with the headers. Okay, and how we can use an header, how we can give an, I would say, the images a particular section. Okay, so components and all that is particularly okay. Now yesterday one question was there about the components. Why only the components we are going to style that on anything? What is the use of it? Okay, so the function of the component, or the what is the function of a component, I would say that usually what we used to do is the component that is providing you particular function, correct, or a group related to that function. So every programming, designing or anything, what we're going to do is we are just systemizing the dividing of that component to turn it such a like reusable form and all. Correct. So in this particular section what you can do is the components. Okay, suppose if I have the component of button. Correct. Over I have a component of button, I've styled it and all. Okay, I have used in this particular board. Similarly in everything, suppose if I'm making a different file, or I'm just making a different page or anything in this section only, I can use it multiple times. Okay, suppose over here I have a images. Okay, I have a images, I have a content to be written over here. And again if I need it over here, the component, and simply just write it up in a function and I will just make it a wrappers. Okay, I can do it. So instead of making the functions again and again, a component again and I have component, I can reuse it. Correct. So simple, similarly to that, like every class component or anything in the React particularly gives you attaining the component as in particular format. Okay, every style component, whether it's a style components. Okay, suppose there is a style component. or I would say class components or anything. So see, style components only and only utilizes the tagged template literals, okay, to style your component. In CSS we use that curly braces and all, okay, but in this we are using the literals to that. And it particularly removes the mapping between two components, and I would say, or different components and styles, okay. It particularly defines the styles of one system, how actually we can create a normal React component, okay. Such I would say such architecture if I'll talk about. So it particularly further more take me to the different styles of that, correct. So similarly we can do it another components. We can make a I would say icon component. We can make a lot of component. This That's not an issue. Is any doubt to anyone? Is there any doubt to anyone? Please say yes or no in a live chat. Do you have any doubt? Yes, you can do it, Ravi. NPM, even in the Mac and all, we need to install in NPM install for getting some of the dependencies and all. Okay. Then for to start it, you can simply write it NPM start. That's it. It would be run on your servers, localhost. Good one. So particularly for the day one we had yesterday, I gave an introduction about that. Okay. So particularly this section we happened at. And today is just an like implementation day. We are going to implement. I'm explaining you side by side too. Okay, don't worry about that. Okay, Nitin, I'll do one thing. Just try it by yourself. Can we use it or not? Okay, because while trying it, you will get to know about whether we can use it. Obviously, I'm gonna explain it, but just try it by yourself. Once like, wait, Karat, can you just repeat it? What it is? Can we write cone in VS Code too? Na code. Yes, we can write. We are writing in a VS Code only. So if I'll talk about the components and hooks and all, so hooks are the function that lets you to, I would say, to let you to hook into the particular state and a life cycle features of every function. Whereas in component, hooks doesn't work like inside of classes only and all. They used to has a without classes also. They let you in that particular section. Yes, yes. You can write that. We just give you an attendance sheet of T2. Kindly just fill the sheet so that you can particularly we can record your attendance and all. It would be definitely on a job beneficial only. Okay, just those who are attending it, please kindly fill the attendance sheet too. Okay, so here's the link. Yes, Yash, we have the attendance for the yesterday also. Okay, thank you so much, guys, for joining it. Uh, Tomorrow we're going to move forward with the more of the components and more of the concept of how we used to parse it and all. Okay, and how we can use the threads and all. Okay, in this particular section. So tomorrow, please join it, everyone, so that we can give a more. I would say, get a more experience in a style components and all. Okay. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining it.